If you struggle with high blood pressure, then watch this video until the end because I'm going to give you some natural health tips that will lower your blood pressure that do not involve weight loss, salt reduction, or even changing your sleep cycles. Hey, I'm Dr. Sam McDonald, brain health expert, helping you rewire your brain so you can live a better life. If you love this content, make sure to like and subscribe so you get the notifications for each week's new video. So blood pressure can be a very complicated topic because there's so many different mechanisms that are going to be involved in regulating and changing your blood pressure. There's also many things that can be done on an outside perspective, meaning outside of the body, that can have an impact on blood pressure too. The most common ones, like mentioned, would be things like salt intake and how that changes the fluid dynamics of the blood. Weight loss in terms of what your body's actually carrying and moving around. That's an extra stressor that your brain has to be able to adapt to. And then sleep cycles and how well rested your body is all going to play an impact on your blood pressure. But the biggest mechanism that's going to have an impact on your blood pressure in terms of it being too high or too low is your brain and your nervous system, specifically the mechanisms in the brain stem that regulate how your blood pressure changes. So your blood pressure is not a static number. It should change because it's going to be on the dynamics of what's happening in your day-to-day life. I already said that scary 5-letter word earlier, stress, and how it's going to have an impact on your blood pressure. So obviously it makes complete sense that your blood pressure should be higher if you're out in the demands of life, meaning you're dealing with something at work, maybe you're stuck in traffic or you're late to a meeting, versus if you're sitting on the couch at home watching TV or you're relaxing. Your blood pressure should be much lower when you're relaxed and it should be much higher when you're stressed. The obvious question that comes to mind then is, why is your blood pressure high all the time, even if you're not in these areas of stress? And the reason for that, the biggest reason anyway, is because your brain and nervous system is in this constant state of stress. We call this stressed brain syndrome. So what you need to do first of all is understand where your baseline neurology is at. Many people have already looked at their blood pressure, even look at it day to day and get readings on it. But when's the last time you actually looked at how your brain and nervous system is functioning? Specifically, how is your brain and nervous system functioning in this fight or flight survival mode versus the relaxation and healing mode? One of the most powerful ways to look at this is something called heart rate variability. Heart rate variability looks at the balance in your nervous system between those two different modes of how you function, and it can give you a really good baseline and understand what's happening underneath the surface. So if you're a person whose heart rate variability is very poor, meaning you're more in that fight or flight dominant state, well, then as a natural side effect, guess what? Your blood pressure is going to be high because it's going to be a natural compensatory mechanism with the heart rate being higher as well because your brain is perceiving that you're in a state of stress. Now, one of the things that you'll need to do in order to get this under control is to start to activate that parasympathetic or relaxation healing system more often. Some of those powerful ways to do that is deep belly breathing, relaxation meditations, and using a Rezzimax. A Rezzimax is a tool that we use in the office to stimulate what's called the vagus nerve, which is the main nerve for the relaxation and healing part of your nervous system. But the Rezzimax is a very powerful tool for doing this using vibration and specific frequencies. So what we often will use for our patients is vagus nerve therapy after the chiropractic adjustments because the adjustments help to regulate the brain and nervous system. We then couple that with vagus nerve therapy afterward, specifically humming or using it in the ear, depending on what we're doing for that particular person, but to help to drive more of that parasympathetic or relaxation response. Beautiful thing is this is a tool that can be used at home to stimulate that vagus nerve on a daily basis in order for you to have an increase in that relaxation and healing mode. So the biggest thing to understand is, yes, you need to have your salt intake properly proportioned. You need to watch your weight. And if you're overweight to lose weight, yes, you need to get good sleep, which is going to couple into that whole vagus nerve function. But most importantly, you need to make sure that the nervous system is functioning optimally and you're not stuck in this chronic stressed out state. Because you can do all those other things, but truthfully, they're going to have very minimal effect if the nervous system is continually to perceiving itself in a stressed out state. So if you're interested in looking at getting a Rezzimax, check out the comments below. We'll leave a code in there for you to save a little bit of money with that. But really understand, you need to get your nervous system regulated. You need to drive that vagus nerve in order to really get your blood pressure under control. So on that note, you should be healthy by choice, not by chance. And for that reason, I will see you on the next video.